Welcome back. Honestman, Skyrim, blind first playthrough. We are getting ready to head into the Soul Cairn. We have the option here to become a vampire, but I've decided
Have you made up your mind?
to decline. I'm aligned with the Dawn Guard, and I don't want to jeopardize that. So I'm going to go conservative here, or what I see as the conservative option, and have her soul trap me.
Are you sure? I'm willing to do it, but you need to think it through. You'll remain mortal, but you'll find yourself weakened within the Soul Cairn.
I'm ready.
I know this is difficult for you. I hope you trust me. I'd never do anything that could hurt you.
I trust you completely.
Thank you. Let's not waste any more time then. I promise to make this as painless as possible. Hold still.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
Let's keep moving. I feel like we're being watched.
I live in a dark world where no light shines through. I carry this burden with every step I take.
I feel terrible for the dead who end up here for eternity. Seems awful, like they're still suffering.
That's the last time I argue with a Dremora.
Did you know I visited elsewhere once? What a strange and wondrous place. Stay away from the Oblivion Gate, I told them. Did they listen? Of course not.
What? Okay, I guess there's enemies in here. Where were you?
You must help me find my Arvak. He doesn't deserve to be in a place like this.
Who's Arvak?
Arvak, my horse. We came to this horrible place together. We were attacked by monsters, so I told him to run. Please, he's such a loyal creature, and he's been running for so long. You have to save him. A place like this will change you.
How can I help him?
Arvak? Arvak! Where are you? Arvak, please come back! Come back!
All right, then.
Look at this place. I can't imagine choosing to come here. My mother must have been terrified.
Are you sure she has the Elder Scroll?
No, but there's no way she would have left it in Tamriel. She wanted to get it as far away from my father as possible. I can't imagine a better place.
And if she doesn't?
Then we find out where she hid it. If she's still alive. Well, as alive as she was before. Or is now. Or... you know what I mean.
Yeah, why not hide it in the Soul Cairn and then return?
Probably to avoid whatever my father would do to her if he could get his hands on her. Or maybe her plan was to come back, but she was stuck here. We won't know until we find her.
Do you know anything about this place?
Just what my mother told me. I've also studied a little bit on my own, but there's not much. When something is trapped in a soul gem, and then the energy is used for powering an enchantment. The remnants are sent here.
Any soul gem?
Well, I think it's specifically the black ones. I don't know if the Soul Cairn takes just any leftovers.
Does anything live here?
Look at this place. Do you think anything would want to live here? The only things that can survive here are the Ideal Masters, the undead, and the souls themselves. Well, if you want to call that living.
Do you think we'll meet the Ideal Masters?
I don't think anyone's ever met the Ideal Masters. I'm not even sure anyone knows what they look like. They could be underground, flying above us. They might be the ground. I have no idea.
Why are they collecting these souls?
Lots of theories. Some say they feed on them like I feed on blood. Others think they use them as payment to an even higher power, almost like a currency. A very strange currency. Whatever they're doing with them, they've been harvesting for millennia. No telling how many souls are trapped here.
Why would a necromancer want to deal with them?
Look around you. There are some extremely powerful undead here. Even a necromancer as seasoned as my mother would be willing to spend years trying to gain access to them.
Summon them, you mean?
Exactly. It's a lost art. Most necromancers just raise up whatever bodies are nearby. A simple trick, really. Child's play. But bringing something from the Soul Cairn gives you something much more powerful.
How do they communicate with them?
Ah, that's usually the trick. It's possible to do it through a simple portal. But to finalize the deal, you have to travel here yourself. And most of them never come back. The air, the ground, this is all wrong.
Okay, just checking out our punishment here. It looks like Weakened Soul reduces our health, magic, and stamina by 45. Which isn't too bad, honestly. At this point in the game, this is sort of a slap on the wrist. Certainly much earlier, it would have been trouble. But I'm not sure I'm going to notice it.
I'd heard stories about the Soul Cairn, but never thought I'd see it myself. So far, it's about what I imagined.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
Air, ground, this is all wrong.
Use Lightning Attractor. Grant or greater soul gems can be placed in the apparatus. Yeah, okay.
Where'd you come from?
Okay, weird. Not sure what the point of that was.
What a horrible place.
Mother? Mother!
Maker. It can't be. Serana?
Is it really you? I can't believe it. How do we get inside? We have to talk.
Serana, what are you doing here? Where's your father?
He doesn't know we're here. I don't have time to explain.
I must have failed. Harkon's found a way to decipher the prophecy, hasn't he?
No, you've got it all wrong. We're here to stop him, to make everything right.
Wait a moment. You've brought a stranger here? Have you lost your mind?
No, you don't...
You, come forward. I would speak with you.
So how has it come to pass that a vampire hunter is in the company of my daughter? It pains me to think you'd travel with Serana under the guise of her protector in an effort to hunt me down.
You're, like, not even on my radar. I'm just here for the Elder Scroll.
Glorious. Serana claims you're her guardian, yet your first instinct appears to be greed. I see that my daughter is still as naive as ever. Serana has sacrificed everything to prevent Harkon from completing the prophecy. I would have expected her to explain that to you.
She has explained virtually nothing. But I do know that I need the Elder Scroll.
You think I'd have the audacity to place my own daughter in that tomb for the protection of her Elder Scroll alone? The scrolls are merely a means to an end. The key to the tyranny of the sun is Serana herself.
How's that?
When I fled Castle Volkihar, I fled with 2 Elder Scrolls. The scroll I presume you found with Serana speaks of Ariel and his arcane weapon, Ariel's bow. The second scroll declares that the blood of Cold Harbor's daughter will blind the eye of the dragon.
Go on.
Like myself, Serana was a human once. We were devout followers of Lord Molig Bal. Tradition dictates the females be offered to Molig Bal on his summoning day. Few survive the ordeal. Those that do emerge as a pure-blooded vampire. We call such confluences the Daughters of Cold Harbor.
Cold Harbor?
It's what some call the domain of Molig Bal. His place in oblivion.
And she underwent this ritual willingly?
It was expected of her, just as it was expected of me. Being selected as an offering to Molig Bal is an honor. She wouldn't have dared turn her back on that.
Lovely. So, the tyranny of the sun requires Serana?
Now you're beginning to see why I wanted to protect Serana, and why I've kept the other Elder Scroll as far from her as possible.
Are you saying that Harkon means to kill her?
If Harkon obtained Ariel's bow, and Serana's blood was used to taint the weapon, the tyranny of the sun would be complete. In his eyes, she'd be dying for the good of all vampires.
Okay, I'm not too keen on that.
And how exactly do you plan on stopping him?
I mean, I can kill him pretty easily.
If you believe that, then you're a bigger fool than I originally suspected. Don't you think I weighed that option before I enacted my plans?
What does Serana think about this?
You care nothing for Serana, or our plight. Whether or not you've become one of us in order to survive the Soul Cairn, you're still a vampire hunter at heart. You're here because we're abominations in your mind. Evil creatures that need to be destroyed.
I feel like we're talking in circles. I'm just here for the Elder Scroll.
I see. You're simply here to stop the tyranny of the sun, despite the cost to Serana. Nothing else matters.
What are you talking about despite the
This
cost to
stranger
Serana?
aligns himself with those that would hunt you down and slay you like an animal. Yet I should entrust you to him.
This stranger has done more for me in the brief time I've known him than you've done in centuries.
Yeah.
How dare you? I gave up everything I cared about to protect you from that fanatic you call a father.
Yes, he's a fanatic. He's changed. But he's still my father. Why can't you understand how that makes me feel?
Oh, Serana, if you'd only open your eyes. The moment your father discovers your role in the prophecy, that he needs your blood, you'll be in terrible danger.
So to protect me, you decided to shut me away from everything I cared about. You never asked me if hiding me in that tomb was the best course of action. You just expected me to follow you blindly. Both of you were obsessed with your own paths. Your motivations might have been different, but in the end, I'm still just a pawn to you too. I want us to be a family again. But I don't know if we can ever have that. Maybe we don't deserve that kind of happiness. Maybe it isn't for us. But we have to stop him before he goes too far. And to do that, we need the Elder Scroll.
I'm sorry, Serana. I didn't know. I didn't see. I've allowed my hatred of your father to estrange us for too long. Forgive me. If you want the Elder Scroll, it's yours. Your intentions are still somewhat unclear to me, but for Serana's sake, I'll assist you in any way that I can.
Okay. But this is like the 5th time I'm asking. The scroll?
Yes. I've kept it safely secured here ever since I was imprisoned. Fortunately, you're in a position to breach the barrier that surrounds these ruins.
What do we need to do?
You need to locate the tallest of the rocky spires that surround these ruins. At their bases, the barrier's energy is being drawn from unfortunate souls that have been exiled here. Destroy the keepers that are tending them, and it should bring the barrier down.
Easily done.
One more word of warning. There's a dragon that calls itself Durnevere roaming the cairn. Be wary of him. The Ideal Masters have charged him with overseeing the keepers, and will undoubtedly intervene if you're perceived as a threat.
If I leave here, can I safely return?
As you've been traveling in the Soul Cairn, your body has become attuned to it. Let's just say a tiny part of you rubbed off on it, and in its place, a bit of the Soul Cairn filled the void. You should find no difficulty using the portal any longer.
Okay, cool. How did you become imprisoned here?
When I entered the Soul Cairn, I had intended to strike a bargain with the Ideal Masters, the custodians of this place.
What was the bargain?
I requested refuge in the Soul Cairn, and in exchange, I would provide the Ideal Masters the souls that they crave. If I had foreseen the value they placed on my own soul, I would never have come here.
Ha, so they tricked you.
The Ideal Masters unleashed their keepers and sent them to destroy me. Fortunately, I was able to hold them at bay and retreat into these ruins.
But trapped yourself.
Unfortunately, yes. Since the keepers weren't able to claim my soul, they had their minions construct a barrier that I'd never be able to breach.
So you've been imprisoned for all of this time.
Time has very little meaning to me. Consequently, it has little meaning to the Ideal Masters as well. I suppose you could call this the ultimate waiting game, each watching the other to see which will give in.
Who are these Ideal Masters?
I know very little about them. They're mystic entities that lord over the Soul Cairn, controlling every aspect from its fabric to its appearance.
What do they resemble?
Well, some necromancers believe they are the crystalline structures dotting the Soul Cairn. I believe there's more to it than that.
How so?
I think they transcend what we perceive as a physical form. Perhaps they were once corporeal beings, but they've obviously reached a point where they no longer require a tangible presence.
And the crystals?
Conduits, through which the Ideal Masters speak to their underlings and feed on their victims.
Why would they require sustenance?
The Ideal Masters' weakness is their insatiable hunger for pure souls. It's the reason for the Soul Cairn's existence, and the only leverage a necromancer has when bargaining with them.
And what do you get in return?
The ability to summon powerful undead guardians, as one would conjure an Atronak or Daedra. However, the majority of necromancers that are foolish enough to enter into a bargain with the Ideal Masters wind up here as harvested souls.
Yeah, it sounds like a sucker's game. Why haven't you pursued the prophecy?
Harkon's vision is a world plunged in eternal darkness, where the vampire can flourish and never again fear the tyranny of the sun. What he fails to realize is how much attention would be called to our kind if the prophecy came to fruition.
What kind of attention?
If eternal night fell, there are many who wouldn't stand for it. They would raise armies in attempts to return things to normal. The order of the day would be our destruction, until every last vampire was hunted down and eliminated.
So you prefer keeping it on the DL?
I do. It's how the vampire has survived for millennia, and the only way we can continue to survive in the future.
Okay.
Be careful, and keep my daughter safe.
Alright,
Let's kill those keeper things and get back to the prison.
exactly. He ain't so tough.
Let's kill those keeper things and get back to the prison.
Alright, piece of cake. Never did see that dragon, though.
You managed to destroy all 3 keepers? Very impressive.
They were lightweights. Can I have the scroll now?
Yes. Please follow me. Keep watch for Durnevere. With the prison's barrier down, he's almost certain to investigate.
I'm glad you're here. I don't think I could be doing this alone. Here's something.
It's Durnevere. He's here. Defend yourselves.
Oh, time.
Where'd you come from?
Defend yourselves. He better defend himself.
Forgive my astonishment, but I never thought I'd witness the death of that dragon.
Why is that?
Volumes written on Durnevere allege that he can't be slain by normal means. It appears they were mistaken. Yes.
Go on.
soul of a dragon is as resilient as its owner's scaly hide. It's possible that your killing blow has merely displaced Dernevir's physical form while he reconstitutes himself.
How long will that take?
Minutes, hours, years. I can't even begin to guess. I suggest we don't wait around to find out. Now, let's get you the Elder Scroll and you can be on your way.
Come on, she's leading us to the scroll.
Well. Ah.
That's it. That's the last scroll. Come on, let's take it to Destiny.
Now that you've retrieved the Elder Scroll, you should be on your way. If there's anything I can do before you depart, you must let me know.
Well, I mean, can you help me get my soul back?
So my daughter applied some of the lessons I taught her about necromancy, did she? Don't worry. I think I can help you.
Good.
Your soul essence was trapped inside a gem. When you and Serana entered the Soul Cairn, it was given to the Ideal Masters as payment. You simply need to retrieve the gem. The moment you touch it, your soul essence will be restored.
Okay. Any idea where it could be?
There's an offering altar not terribly far from here. I'm willing to bet that the gem you're looking for is there. Is there anything else? Could be your last chance.
You're staying here?
I have no choice. As I told you before, I'm a daughter of Cold Harbor. If I return to Tamriel, that increases Harkon's likelihood of bringing the tyranny of the sun to fruition.
I mean, we could use your help.
As much as it pains me to send you and Serana back alone, I can't take the risk. Remember that Harkon is not to be trusted. No matter what he promises, he'll deceive you in order to get what he wants. And promise me you'll keep my daughter safe. She's the only thing of value I have left.
Stay your weapons. I would speak with you, Quinarin.
Thought you were dead.
Cursed, not dead. Doomed to exist in this form for eternity. Trapped between Laas and Enoch. Between life and death.
Why are we speaking?
I believe in civility among seasoned warriors, and I find your ear worthy of my words. My claws have rended the flesh of innumerable foes, but I have never once been felled on the field of battle. I therefore name you Quinarin, or Vanquisher in your tongue.
I wish I could say I found you equally worthy, but you weren't so tough.
Your words do me great honor. My desire to speak with you was born from the result of our battle, Quinarin. I merely wish to respectfully ask a favor of you.
Go on.
For countless years I've roamed the Soul Cairn in unintended service to the Ideal Masters. Before this, I roamed the skies above Tamriel. I desire to return there.
What's stopping you?
I fear that my time here has taken its toll upon me. I share a bond with this dreaded place. If I ventured far from the Soul Cairn, my strength would begin to wane until I was no more.
Where do I come in?
I will place my name with you, and grant you the right to call my name from Tamriel. Do me this simple honor, and I will fight at your side as your Graze Mazen, your ally, and teach you my Thum.
Okay, I can handle that.
Trivial in your mind, perhaps. For me, it would mean a great deal. I don't require an answer, Quinarin. Simply speak my name to the heavens when you feel the time is right.
How did you end up here?
There was a time when I called Tamriel my home. But those days have long since passed. The Dova roamed the skies, vying for their small slices of territory that resulted in immense and ultimately fatal battles.
Were you a part of all that?
I was. But unlike some of my brethren, I sought solutions outside the norm in order to maintain my superiority. I began to explore what the Dova call Elok Dilan, the ancient forbidden art that you call necromancy.
So you sought the Soul Cairn for answers.
The Ideal Masters assured me that my powers would be unmatched, that I could raise legions of the undead. In return, I was to serve them as a keeper until the death of the one who calls herself Valerica.
They didn't tell you she was immortal.
I discovered too late that the Ideal Masters favor deception over honor, and had no intention of releasing me from my binding. They had control of my mind, but fortunately they couldn't possess my soul.
Is that why you're free now?
Free? No. I have been here too long, Quinarin. The Soul Cairn has become a part of what I am. I can never fully call Tamriel my home again, or I would surely perish. I only hope that you will allow me the precious moments of time there, through your call. In my language, the Quinarin is the vanquisher, the one who has bested a fellow Dova in battle.
Fellow Dova. Yeah, you don't know how right you are.
Even in the Soul Cairn, the defeat of the World Eater has reached my ears, Dovahkin. You may not be Dova, but the defeat of Alduin earns you the right of title.
My soul.
Do you need something?
Does it bother you that we're working against your father?
I can't say it surprises me. I kind of figured we were heading for this someday. I just didn't know when.
Will it be hard for you if we have to kill him?
If. I've been assuming that's where all this is going. I've been trying to make my peace with it. Come on, we can talk about this another time.
Need something?
So I did take a trip back to the College of Winterhold. Apparently I had to turn right back around and get my Elder Scroll back from Urag after I just gave it to him. But that means I have both. The one we just picked up, as well as the original one from the main quest. So, this guy, if I can find him, oh, he's upstairs, should have some information for us now.
I trust your journey was successful?
Indeed. I've brought the Elder Scrolls.
I'm sorry, my friend. I can no longer be of use in this matter.
What? Why?
It's my fault. In my haste to read the first scroll, I neglected the careful preparation required. I thought I'd be able to allay the after effects, but I was wrong. Now I am paying for it.
And you're blind.
Blind? Yes, I'm afraid so.
Can anything be done?
No. It will have to run its course. And there's always the chance I may never recover.
Dude, you had one job. One job. Now what do we do?
No, there is another way. The question is, how much are you willing to risk to find Oriel's bow?
Well, I'm not going to risk my eyes. What do we need to do?
I can't guarantee you'd be free from harm. Becoming blind could be the least of your worries.
Just tell me.
Scattered across Tamriel are secluded locations known only as Ancestor Glades. There's one in Skyrim in the Pine Forest. Performing the ritual of the Ancestor Moth within the glade should provide the answers you seek.
Okay.
It involves carefully removing the bark from a canticle tree, which will in turn attract ancestor moths to you. Once enough of the moths are following, they'll provide you with the second sight needed to decipher the scrolls.
Carefully gather the bark. How do I do that?
In keeping with tradition, you must use a specific tool in the Ancestor Glade, an implement known as a draw knife. Every moth priest is taught this ritual, but few ever get the chance to perform it. You should consider yourself fortunate if it works for you.
Okay. I expect you're going to give me one of these knives, but do I need to read the scrolls in any order?
From what I saw in the vision, the Elder Scroll which foreshadows the defiance of the gods with the blood of mortals is the key to the prophecy.
How's a moth related to the Elder Scrolls?
Well, as I'm sure you figured out by now, it's no mere coincidence that we're named moth priests. The voice of the ancestor moth has always been an integral part of reading the Elder Scrolls.
The voice of the moth? I didn't realize moths had voices.
Oh, the moths don't literally read the scrolls, but they maintain a connection to ancient magic that allows the moth priests to decipher them. If you listen closely when you find the glade, you should be able to hear their song, a soft, harmonious trilling. It's through this ancestral chorus that the moths tap into a form of primal augur and become a conduit for deciphering the scrolls.
How does that help moth priests?
By having the ancestor moths close to the moth priest, they can utilize the conduit and share the moth's augury. Only the most resilient of priests can do it this way. It takes years of practice to interpret the harmony.
And how do I stand a chance?
You've come this far, and you've found several Elder Scrolls. Whether you believe it or not, the scrolls have a mind of their own. If they did not want you to find them, they would not allow it. Because of this, I strongly believe you were meant to hear the ancestral chorus. Only one way to find out.
Great.
Good luck. I hope you find the answers you seek.
I hope we reach Ancestor Glade soon.
Okay. Over in the Ancestor Glade here. Gotta get a knife.
Not very impressive, is it? If this ends up being a wasted trip, your friend Dexian and I are gonna have some words when we get back.
Tell me about it. Thought I saw someone up there. Ah. Are you saying something? I can't hear you. Alright.
Hope the moths like that bark as much as Dexian said they would. Dexian didn't look at them. They've definitely taken a liking to you. And unless I'm seeing things, you're starting to glimmer.
I don't see a glimmer.
Whoa. I think that might have been what we were waiting for. Let's head back up there and see if we can read the scrolls. Are you okay? Almost thought I lost you there. You went as white as the snow.
Yeah, it felt pretty strange.
I could see it in your eyes. You looked about 1,000 leagues away. What about Ariel's bow? Do you know where we can find it?
It's in a place called Darkfall Cave.
Then it's almost over. We can finally put an end to this ridiculous prophecy. Where is this Darkfall Cave?
The scrolls gave me its exact location.
Then let's get going. I want to get there before my father has a chance to track us down.
What do you know about this bow?
Not much. If you read any history, it shows up from time to time, but it's a hard thing to track. As far as I know, though, it's never been held by a vampire. That would be a new one.
What does that have to do with the sun?
Ariel is one of the elven gods. He's with the rest of them in Aetherius. The way I've heard it, the sun represents the connection from our world to theirs. Supposedly, the bow draws its energy from the sun itself, which is why it shows up in that prophecy.
What the hell? Oh, shit. Bunch of jerks. Trying to have a conversation here? Is there more?
Not impressed. I kept it.
Oh, no, behind you. Oh, that's your summon. Okay. Okay, so as you were saying, what does the bow do exactly?
That part I don't know. Once we have it, hopefully it'll be obvious.
Okay, great. All right, I think that's going to be a wrap. We'll come back next time retrieving Ariel's bow, and if we make good time, maybe even kill Serana's dad. We'll see how it goes. Until then, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. This has been Honest Man, and I'll see you next time with more Skyrim.